Welcome back, one and all, to the North American Challengers League, presented by Subway. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Joshi, likely candidates on our first day of our final regular season week in the NACL, and I couldn't be more excited. A fight back is on the horizon. I am sure of it, as Wildcard versus Supernova went whole-handedly to Supernova in game number 1, at least after 20 minutes.
And it was definitely a situation where we saw Wildcard were the ones who were trying to make most of the fights happen, and it felt as though things were kind of going their way. But one of the problems that we have seen from Wildcard propped up again, they don't really know how to play around the side lanes particularly well, and Quacker and Darkwings were consistently falling to every play that Supernova was setting up at the top side.
Yeah, that's the interesting duality of it is there was a lot of fisticuffs in terms of the way that we were approaching the jungle. A lot of the synergies early in the game were working for Wildcard, maybe a little reminiscent of their split as a whole, but towards the end, coming together wasn't necessarily the mantra, and I think we need to see a turnaround of that in game number 2. That's what I love about Fearless, and that's what I love about a strategy like Wildcard grabbed in game number 1, because now you put your serious face on, you're like, okay, we didn't win with our strategy, let's go with something else.
Yeah, and I felt as though they were reasonably close. There were opportunities for them to bring that one through. Unfortunately, the one game plan that Wildcard tends to have where you bring Quacker down bottom lane, you win a fight or get it, or you get a dragon, at that point you can usually go into the rest of the game with a lead. Then it becomes, can you play out the 2-lane strategy that they are so well known for? This time they couldn't. They tried to play all 3 lanes. Supernova were better at that, and we'll see if they can take down Supernova to at least try and climb a spot here in the last couple of games of the regular season.
Little things, right?
If
we do have it ready, I would love to bring up the Fearless bands going into the next game, just so we can kind of focus in on what will be available. Thank you so much, Cinzi, our producer, as we do have a lot of other bands to look at on the side of Supernova. Yes, a lot of crazy, wild things, maybe some Senna and Udyr focus on Wildcard side, but the Kindred gone from Kenvi, a staple. Faisal's Gragas is gone. The Varus, more particularly in the Nautilus and bot lane, big picks right now in the meta, both gone.
Yeah, and the big thing here for the rest of Wildcard, though, is that most of his composition is kind of whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want with everything else. The top lane has been pretty commonly picked here for Quacker, but he's still got lots of things that he can play. The one thing that I feel as though Quacker has been suffering from is the champions that he was having a lot of success on earlier in the split have gotten nerfed. The Cassante is nowhere near as common. The Udyr is really struggling, and basically everyone recognizes, don't get this guy Darius, he's just too good at it.
I think that's a good call. We're going to get into draft now, though. Game number 2, Wildcard on the blue side again. Supernova on the red side. Let's see what those bands do belay for the strategies that Wildcard can bring to focus this time around. I think getting those facilitated junglers for Winnie, super big. But we saw all that focus from differing styles last time around in the bans, at least. The top lane focus was prevalent for Supernova, and we didn't see as many of the bot lane bans, I feel like.
Yeah, it is definitely a situation where these two teams have more specialisms, right? They have more things where you really have to focus down a couple of players in terms of what they're likely to play. And as Darius, again, is continuing to pop up as a Quacker ban. So it depends a lot on how Wildcard have a read into Cassante. I was pretty down on him previously. I think he's okay, but it's now a spot where what else does Quacker really play? He is really well known for playing Olaf, Darius, and Cassante previously, and then he had a Renekton. But all those champions except Renekton are now worse than they were a couple of patches ago.
They're still pulling bans for him, though. At least the Olaf and the Darius last time around. The Rumble this time, again, banned by Wildcard, just trying to take away maybe the flexibility, but also one of Faisal's really strong champions there. The Talia still consistently there. The Orianna trying to take away some of the built-in synergy with Winnie and Darkwings as well.
Yeah. We also have to recognize that if you look at the Supernova roster, they have, I would guess, more one-of champions than anybody else in the league. And I remember somebody claimed, and it looks pretty true, Diamond has the most unique play champions of any player in the league. He has played
awesome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 champions once so far in the split, and another 4 twice for each of them. Maybe Nautilus 3 times. So either way, it's been a huge opportunity for Supernova because they have so many one-of champions. They've shown a huge breadth of what they are able to play.
And I think a zoom in of that is they are a team that has truly taken advantage of the Fearless Draft system. I think that there are teams in our league that maybe don't buy into that as much, but we have seen literally like 4 out of 5 members on this Supernova roster be playing like 5, 6+ one-off champions, right? And I think it's really, really curious and interesting, since we're going to be going to playoffs where Fearless becomes even more interesting and more important, how they can utilize that to their strengths. The Senna Tom Kench is going to be there, and that's going to be a pretty strong strength to play around on bot side.
You have a lot of tools, right? This is only the second time that Supernova have played this Tom Kench and the Senna combo down in the bottom lane, and it leaves them very open on the rest of the map. Now that Aaron and Doxa don't have the same kind of tools, one of the biggest conversations that we always see, particularly in the Eastern Leagues, is how to Smolder into Senna. And I know the LCK and the LPL have very different answers to this one, and we have the LPL caster here, so what are your thoughts?
Well, this matchup, if I'm going off my LPL bias, I definitely say Smolder. The thing is, now in the LPL, though, people don't care about letting you have Smolder because they just take Kaisa Lucian and they just push your face in and they win anyways. That's not the answer here, and it's actually the nice use of the back end of blue side to get the Smolder into the Senna, because I actually, again, biased from the LPL, I really like this matchup, and it particularly when you're giving Darkwings and Winnie a powerful duo like the Xin Zhao Karma, it helps play towards that bot side.
Yeah, now so far, we saw that last game, or last series, Maryville picked a lot of range champions into the Xin Zhao, and they lost. So, I hope Supernova can learn from that and pick maybe one other range champion, then at least 3 total melee champions, so they can actually play into this composition that Wildcard have built up. But the problem is, you now have like different pushes in the way that you're trying to play, because Smolder, you want melee champions to have a really strong ability to get onto the enemy backline. But Xin Zhao really puts a big stop to that, because now the range champions are going to struggle to actually keep up. So it does feel like we're going to have 4 characters plus Sen on the side of Supernova.
I'd be very curious how that works out, because now we're looking at the second phase. The Nautilus is the ban, a very, very good combo with the Smolder. Still some other things available. I know the Maokai was kind of rising in priority in 14.4, things like that, but even falling in other priorities. The Vi ban right now for Wildcard against Supernova, very good call, I feel like, because you're trying to get that single target lockdown to the Smolder, and that takes that option away from you.
Yeah. I also really like the bans coming through for the second half of the draft on both sides, right? Because you just need to make sure that Smolder is safe. Nautilus and Rel are so good at keeping Smolder safe, so is Karma, but on the other hand, now you need to ban things out that can actually get to Smolder in the first place. The Vi was the natural first ban. Xin Zhao was something that you would oftentimes look at if you hadn't already picked it. Now the question becomes, what other junglers can even threaten the Smolder? What can even get there? The Lee Sin seems to be the answer, and that probably would have been what Kenby would have gone to next.
I would have liked to see the Kenby Lee Sin come back to it, but Wildcard definitely don't want to deal with that one at all. Yeah, the Cassante answer is here for Faisal coming in with that one, and the pick on the other side for Wildcard being very important here to find some stability in that, because I think Cassante is still one of those champions that finds a lot of flexibility, and if he wants to play side lane or in team fights, and I want a little bit of an answer to that for Wildcard and Quacker.
Yeah. The stability of the team fights will matter a lot, and it is kind of interesting to see that this Lulu has been hovered so consistently, but this Gwen, yeah, I feel as though Wildcard have put together as close to an Exodia comp as they possibly could in this. Senna, Ahri are really going to struggle to take down both the Xin Zhao and the Gwen. Karma will help both of them survive, and then you just have a Smolder on top of it. So what I'm looking at is the only real way for a Wildcard to have some good opportunities to win this game, excuse me, for Supernova to win this game, is if they go down bottom lane and put Smolder in the dirt so that he doesn't come online until like 30 minutes.
The Bard is a really excellent choice with the Smolder. A lot of setup, CC. The Tempered Fate can come big. It can also doom your team, but Dox is going to be piloting that one this time around. We'll see what he can do with it. The tools to build bridges are being assigned right now, and it's definitely to Darkwings and Winnie to do so for Wildcard, because they have, again, just kind of like game number 1, a very strong late game comp. We saw if Supernova can get up underneath them, might be able to push the tempo a little bit more. Now,
Lennon, I do have a fun fact. I was very excited about this Wildcard composition this entire time. I want you to guess. I'm going to preface this by saying Bard has a 0% win rate in Challengers League split. 0%. How many games do you think he's been played?
2. 4.
6. He's been played 6 times and has won 0 of them so far.
No.
that does suddenly mean that Wildcard seem to be the one team who have been finding wins in places where they're not supposed to and finding losses when they're not supposed to either. So suddenly it becomes a very interesting position right here. I really like Wildcard's composition. They are very good at playing front-to-back styles with the composition that they built. But hey, what's the other thing we know about this team, Lennon? They don't play front-to-back.
It's something they're going to have to turn around, though. And I think it's going to have to come away quick. Again, going into this the second game, which could be a last for Wildcard. This is Wildcard's last series of the regular season, so they need to make it happen here. This is Supernova's second to last. So definitely more pressure on Wildcard to make this go the distance. But on the other side, there's a lot of pressure to be had. Kenvi on a classic. On the pick, I feel, that literally destroyed the league when he was on 100 Thieves Next and then 100 Thieves Academy. Yeah. He will be looking to push the tempo, and we know that has been his mantra this entire season. He wants to go back to the Kenvi of old.
We'll see how well he's able to do that. The trinket does make sure that Doxa does not put down any wards, but there are wards going down to the other side of the map. And to go back to that conversation, Mazel, we do know that Kenvi has been a bit of a monster. So much of it has to do with how much confidence he has during all of these plays. Does he feel as though he can make different plays happen? And now he's trying to speak up more and more to make sure that everybody else on his team can start playing around him. Like you said, he didn't do that a whole lot during his time on Immortals LCS, and now he's going to try and make sure that they have an opportunity to play for a better seed both today by finding a win here and tomorrow when they have to play up against FlyQuest.
And it's always been so funny because Kenvi's a very quiet guy. He's very shy outwardly, but you know, you get that little fire in him. I still remember the first interview of this point. We kind of asked him like, "Hey, like, what is your statement? You're coming in the air," and you see that little fire in his eye. He starts getting a little cocky. You know that fire is there. There's a reason why this guy is such a good competitor, and I think Winnie's gonna have a tall task here, but they have the tools to be able to fight against it.
Yeah. Now, when he's choosing an interesting path, he knows he's on vision, and he just does his Raptors and immediately moves to the other side of the map. That does give him a lot of experience to play with, but at the same time, Kenvi is going to be power farming. If Winnie doesn't try and interrupt Kenvi relatively early on, it should be Kenvi out farming him pretty drastically. At the same time, top lane here for Wildcard should be pretty good for Quacker overall, and he will have opportunities to push that around. Oh, the vision disappeared.
Yeah, at the last second there, too. No ping's going to come across there, but I think they do realize at the last second, a little ping comes out to show where they think Kenvi will be. And with that being said, we kind of get the wonkies who move Array away because Tom Kent can be very safe in the lane itself. Doxa playing with fire here. Gets the tongue lash to him, about half health down, but Supernova used some priority in bottom lane to use that movement. Array moving early means good signs for Supernova.
Great play early on from Kenvi. Now they just need to continue to push it. We are still seeing that the top lane is a bit of a struggle bus for Faisal. It was not a good matchup even before Cassante got nerfed, and it is even worse now. But Kenvi, with a lot of control over the bottom side of the map, will continue to push Aaron and Doxa in, make that even more difficult. Now we have a pause. Hopefully it's short.
Back. We're gonna figure out what's going on. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. But until then, I was so neck deep in like what was happening next. I was like watching Kenvi Winnie pathing. But it didn't sound right. I think this second game is a lot more calm, a lot more stable than that first game, even though we haven't gotten too much further.
Apparently, we had some issues with the stream. So let me see. On my side, I can still see things happening. So everything seems to be going back.
Hopefully we'll get back in the game. Be able to get back in the game.
That is true.
Gotta love remote broadcasting.
Yeah.
Sometimes can have some issues, but
dude,
we'll get that all solved.
You're
just hanging out with us.
Yeah, I still think one of the funniest things that we've seen in a long time was the fire alarm that happened a couple of weeks ago because one of the, I don't remember who, but one of their teammates, or not the teammates, one of their roommates was cooking and set off the fire alarm. And, you know, we've all been there. But I also know there's a pause earlier today. I don't know if you saw it during the NRG game.
I did.
Yeah, where there's apparently someone.
You don't know the details of it.
Okay, well they did say Doka was not feeling well, whatever that meant. So there is some kind of health issue, but moving into the rest of it, it is still a position where this top lane is going to be struggling for Faisal. He's going to be trying to look for opportunities to turn things around, but we should not expect him to be a main character in this game. He's playing against Quacker in a matchup where he does not want to be playing against Quacker.
Definitely doesn't. And I think we can see at least the game plan for Wildcard back to the combination of, post 20, 25 minutes, you're going to be feeling a lot more strong. And being able to find the ins with Quacker, things like that's going to be really important. But getting these stacks for Aaron, also very important. Array getting forced on by the flap. And that means Winnie over on the other side might be able to get something if Array steps too far forward.
Not going to. Really like the aggressive flap there coming through from Aaron. It is a lot of pressure. One more. I only like 2 of them, but the third one was not as good. But the 25 stacks already coming through. He's doing a pretty good job finding some of these early hits. Make sure he gets some damage onto Diamond as quickly as possible so that you can start stacking all of this up. But the question still becomes, how does Kenvi push this lead? He already has the serrated dirt, that's what it's called. Now he needs to go back and farm all these high-value camps because Winnie was not able to get to them. But he hasn't necessarily done anything other than push Darklings out of the mid lane and bought some space for Sochi.
The tempo that Graves can have when you get ahead is so ridiculously oppressive. I do see that both junglers putting a little bit more prevalence towards this top side of the map with the Telegrubbies spawned. Looks like Winnie's going to be the only one watching that TV for now. Kenvi might come join him. They do spot out that ward, though, so they'll know. And Winnie playing a little bit less confident with it now that Kenvi's showing up.
Doxa's here, though, looking for a stun.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the advantage here. Kenvi and Shochi need to be very careful. They have Array on their way out.
All Supernovas here.
They also have Diamond. They've gotten the move. Winnie's getting low. You got to be careful, though. Shochi got it out of there with that Spirit Rush. Kenvi going to flash his way, but Quacker has arrived. The needlework is not enough.
Ooh.
It does the snipe. First blood for Wildcard. All out from Faisal. Delivers Dark Wings to Darkness. As Quacker is there in the fight now, too. Faisal's going for the Abyssal Dive. The Wombo combos and Supernova. They've turned it all on his head and completely bashed Wildcard.
Wow, great play coming through from Faisal in particular. We didn't think he was going to be the main character, but he is able to get there at the same time. The other side of the map, flap. Smolder is still doing his thing. So this was a 5v4 coming out for Supernova. They get an extra kill. But here, as we see all the damage coming through from Shochi, he's so close to getting out. The Quacker at the very end, able to snipe him down with the needlework all the way on the other side because he turned back around for the charm. Though, it is traded back from Faisal, and then Quacker thinks he has an opportunity to be really aggressive, but is a little bit too aggressive himself. Ends up going down. Lots of souls going over to Array.
I think what we're seeing here is just a relaxation on Supernova, knowing when to make the correct decisions in these fights and just knowing when they can step forward in some of those situations. And that's what we saw a lot of in game number 1 of this series.
Smite fight. Kenvi's going to hop this wall. Guarantee it.
He gets it, and he's gonna get more when he run away. Oh, the collateral, and it's all damaging, baby, as Kenvi has arrived in town.
That's really big coming through for Kenvi, finding another kill. He has the tempo advantage. He now has a gold lead as well. Going to be going towards the other side of the map. He knows that there's plenty of opportunity here to take away more camps from winning because he's moving with Array at the same time. Another Raptor spawn taken away from Winnie. This is a big deal because Raptors and Krugs give so much more gold and experience. It is a much more impactful invade coming through from Kenvi than you might have otherwise expected. Now, they're just in control of the game.
And recently, this is not a position Wildcard are familiar with. They were looking to finish out their season with a 3-0 series score, but this has been a tough test for them to arrive at and a tough opponent to finish last against in this regular season matchups. And I think we're seeing them try to struggle with how to approach this little mid game that's going to be coming up that they find themselves behind in. If Dragon on the other side would be a first one at 8.5 minutes, but Presence is starting to move down that way.
It's also worth noting at this point that typically it's somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes where they bring Quacker down to the bottom side of the map in order to try and turn and invade around or go for a dragon fight. He does not have teleport, and he is not looking to back anytime soon, which means that Quacker, the extra member that they normally bring to a lot of these engagements, is not going to be able to participate. Supernova are going to be able to get this dragon for free. Kenvi's already completed his first item. He's going to be doing this dragon by himself because there's no prio anywhere for a Wildcard to play with.
it takes a while to walk out of base. So that man had the opportunity at like 8:30 in the game, which might be a Samsung SSD Fast 5 at the end of the week here. We'll see how it goes though. Faisal going all out here on a Quacker, going all in too, and Quacker getting low. It's still Cassante and a solo follow to Faisal. Winnie's a little bit mad and he wants some revenge, but he can't hit. The wind becomes lightning. Faisal steps back up.
Great stuff coming through from Faisal. Shochi?
Yeah, Shochi. He's got the Mantra Q onto him, but he's still got some charges here. Trying to get some damage back. Kenvy's going to step up and block that one. Ooh. Collateral damage going to not get enough damage from Kenvy, but they have presence in mid lane now.
Yeah, just the collateral, not the damage ended up coming through from there, so Dark Wings does end up living, but we gotta give praise to Faisal at this point. That's the second time he surprised us on this Cassante, saying that he was not going to be the main character himself, he was just going to be helping out, but fighting the solo kill on Quacker in this matchup is a big deal. He is now in a position where he can do a lot more damage. If he continues to skyrocket himself ahead, he actually presents threat to Aaron when he's not supposed to be able to.
Aaron's not having much fun down there as a little dragon.
If he was having fun already, we'd be having bigger problems, you know?
True. At least Supernova would be having bigger problems. I think Supernova feeling just fine right now with 2,000 gold in the advantage. They also have gotten at least the dragon under them. Doxa's up here to save the day if Cracker gets anything put his way, but a TP should just come back from Faisal. Nope, he's stopped because Doxa is going to be a little annoying. Yeah,
Shochi is on his way, though. Not Shochi, Diamond. Already moving towards the top side. They're like, that's a very odd place for Dox to be. There must be a dive coming up.
Array has Dawning Shadow coming up now. Here it comes to save as well. Man. Faisal gets one. He trades one back. Oh, no, Winnie, no! Oh, he gets executed. So it ends up being just a 1-for-1.
All right, just the one. I thought for sure when he was going to be a kill for either Faisal or Array, but nothing ends up tagging him on his way out. That's a really good turnaround from Supernova.
Oh, my God, Kenvy! You did so much damn damage, bro! Kenvy goes on a killing spree, rightfully so.
He's also up 7 camps as well at the same time. He is so far ahead on this Graves. Now he's looking for Dark Wings.
Dark Wings has some distance, though, and he is the Karma. Shochi's here, though. He wants to kill. Dark Wings gets him. A shutdown goes over. Shochi tries to get the flash play there, but now he's stunned up. CC'd. Dark Wings! He's going to get the heal. No, he can't get the heal from the root there anyways. Doxa going with some auto attacks now, though. Winnie, he's coming up the backside, but nice little dodge from Shochi. I don't know if he can get him under tower. There he goes. Winnie is securing the kill, and Wildcard on the board.
Great play coming through from Dark Wings. Kenvy thought he could take him by surprise, but the ward guarantees that Kenvy is not going to be getting the drop on him. Some much needed gold going over, and now Winnie might be overextending himself.
We'll end up seeing Faisal over here as well. Top lane didn't go down, and Faisal playing around with the vision here.
Yeah,
he's going to try to save bot side a little bit more, though.
That's pretty funny from Winnie going all the way around the Rosie. Make sure he ends up getting that Gromp. I mean, he needs to. He doesn't have anything else he can really farm, and Supernova going to be picking up some of these Telegruppies. I don't believe they can get 5. We'll get a confirmation from production here in just a moment. Doxa got one.
What is up with little mini steals of objectives today? As we did get our update as Wildcard had 2 and Supernova had 4 total.
That means that's a big deal. The fact that he gets that steal means that Twitch chat not able to help out Supernova this time around. So it is still about a 2,000 gold lead coming in for Supernova. They have a team composition that really relies on getting the drop on Wildcard because Kenvy needs to be able to get his damage down. Array wants to take a long time for these fights to go through, but they're also still on a timer because they're always going to be playing up against this Smolder who will absolutely dominate fights later on. Yes, they did a good job killing him once, so Kenvy just ran into him, but you can't count on that being the case most of the time as Wildcard just need to clean things up and be safe with the way they want to play.
Yeah, that's been the game plan the whole time. We already had the tools to build bridges from Dark Wings and Winnie, but they just need to keep building. Even if things are getting a little hectic around them, you still have the saving grace of what this composition can be later on in the game. You call it a little mini Exodia and see if they can get to that point, get all 5 cards in. Now, bot side focus, though, there is a dragon coming up, which means Wildcard trading that one for a play attempted on Shochi. Might have actually wanted to step back into that Tempered Fate, but he just gets blasted.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the exact same question when he dodged out on this. Like, what if he just didn't? You know, what if he just got hit by it? It does mean that it will be a trade of objectives for a kill. We will be seeing that his dragon will go down over to Supernova, but kill plus the Rift Herald will give Wildcard some opportunity to try and take down the mid lane turret very effectively. And at the same time, the bottom lane is really interesting to see. I actually really like how far Quacker is playing in this spot because he knows as his team takes a turn top lane, it would be Supernova's turn to try and take and play bottom lane. Kenvi has to be around somewhere. We knew he was going for red buff, but Quacker didn't.
Well, first tower fell in the favor of Supernova, then another one in their favor, one returned by Wildcard. So a lot of structures across the map burning down. We are also getting to full first item completions for big members Riftmaker there for Quacker, but also the Essence Reaver completed for Aaron.
Yeah. Aaron will have a lot of tools. Now, we have to remember with the recent changes to Smolder, there is a pretty clear best couple of builds, best couple of items. It is Essence Reaver into Spear Shojin basically every game at this point because you are reliant on building the AD in order to make sure your true damage actually does damage later on in the game. You can't go with the tankier builds anymore. But we don't have anything to really play for at the moment here, Mazel, and that does mean that Wildcard is going to be the ones to try and make things happen based on what we know about how they like to play.
Don't have anything to play for, so let's make something to play for. A bot lane TP from Shochi. They're coming in. They caught Whitney. He finds himself out on the wrong side of town. He does get that Crescent Guard out, but now here comes Supernova. Abyssal dive over the edge. Quacker, you got to get with your team, but the charm connects. Tempered Fate from Doxa will save the day for a little bit longer. Quacker is trying to take it up, but that's going to be 2 kills. No, he gets one back. Wow, Shochi goes down in the end, but it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Supernova.
And we get to see exactly how crazy Gwen can be when there's a lot of melee champions stacked on top of them. At the same time, on the far side of the map, Darkwings is just farming up a storm. He is now putting pressure on yet another objective. Array finds himself another soul. Now we have 112 stacks here for Aaron. Array should be at 80? 70 to 80 at this point. Oh, this is my turn.
Here, Shochi pulling the play.
We do have Shochi, like you said, pulling it off, looking for an opportunity to jump onto Winnie. But from here, it's just a matter of having all 5 members of Supernova trying to punish Winnie for the invade. I love the turnaround from Faisal as soon as the Tempered Fate lands. Knows he can't go for Zinjo, but what we go for? We can go for the Gwen instead. Found that one there. We also got confirmation 76 stacks, so I've actually been pretty good on my stat counter so far. 76 already coming through for the Senna. Will have some opportunity to do damage later on, and will have the range that they can play these really long fights and punish Darkwings and Aaron whenever they start lining up the fights.
On the topic of stacks as well, on the side of Aaron, the skirmishing of mid-game is where Smolder starts to come alive, grabbing all those stacks consistently and getting the chicky nuggies. You don't need the big one. You just want the small ones there. Give the big one to your jungler. But I think Wildcard are going to want to start upticking the presence of these kind of sustained skirmish fights.
Yeah. Wildcard, be careful.
Darkwings, he's got the angle on him right now, too. And Kenvi's here. Kenvi does so much damage. I don't know if he's going to have enough of the collateral damage, though, and he doesn't pull the trigger on that, realizing Darkwings has a ton of sustain.
And also that Shochi is currently not doing a lot of damage. Just has not been Shochi's best game. He's been getting punished fairly often for trying to make plays. And also, we have to remember, put Supernova at risk with the teleport top lane right in the face of Wildcard. And now Supernova, as they start taking over the western quadrant of the jungle, Wildcard, again, they don't react particularly well to a lot of plays because they are always trying to make ones of their own. Now, they do need to try and find a way to play all 3 lanes because that's how Supernova is going to be pressuring them.
And I think now, a little bit of presence on the map. Does this situation fare well for Kenvi and Co. for Supernova? Because they are far ahead. They have Senna with some scaling, but that combo between Shochi and Kenvi hasn't truly been alive just yet. Unless they start getting some catch-outs here, which I guess that just changes the whole conversation now, which it looks like they're going to do. Mother finally comes out for, I feel like, the first time, but Winnie is not going to be saved by the call home from Aaron. And Quacker is forward. He's got some big needleworks there. Darkwing's got a flank. The mantra Q. It's starting to work. Tempered Fate dodged out of, though, and Array and Faisal are now the front line.
Really big props to Array there for making sure that multiple members of Wildcard could not participate because he was holding them over the wall. This was a perfect position here for Supernova, and now they can reset and start looking at the next dragon. They are already 2 dragons to the soul. They will be first to play in the next one, and that could put them 1 away from the Hextech soul, which is not the best soul in the world, but hey, to quote Magical, soul is a soul. You still want to get the dragons and make sure your opponents don't.
True. As Rift Herald available still for Winnie. Oh, a lot of damage from Amantra. Oh, Shochi. He finally got the ulti up just now. I was going to say, is it going to be enough time? He does end up doing it, but that's a big ulti burn. Faisal finds Aaron. Not going to get the combo onto him yet, but forcing him off that last big nuggy. As Kenvi has already been doing the dragon, 3rd dragon of the game for Supernova.
Yeah, Wildcard not responding to it at all, instead trying to make a play on the other side of the map. This is kind of the Wildcard special. Winnie hopping over the wall, trying to find this crash to come through.
Turn, Winnie, turn! There we go, he got it. Joji is just getting so much damage done to him by Darkwings, and that's what this duo of the Xin Zhao Karma can really do.
Yeah, Diamond is coming through, teleports there, there's a 5v3.
They don't have Aaron. He's trying to get up here, but they also Supernova don't have.
He's not here.
So Winnie's on his way onto Diamond. Diamond pulled the trigger way too early. He's about to get fried like a catfish. Donnie Shadow coming across. There's a beautiful Tempered Fate to buy some time, but it might have been for Supernova because now Kenvi's here, and he's about to one-shot Doc. So Winnie is in the front line all by himself, and Supernova had pulled the trigger right onto the head of Wildcard. It was a last gasp effort. It's their last series in the split, and they needed desperately for a win. But Supernova will be their Grim Reaper.
And they're going to come through and pick up everything and the Baron as well. The Rally Cry Baron buff for Supernova will take control of this game. But this fight, absolutely chaotic coming through for Wildcard. And the members of Supernova all over the place. But this is where we said Wildcard struggles with playing these front-to-back team fights. They have an opportunity here, but as soon as it starts looking good, they end up resetting the fight for themselves. That allows Faisal to just buy time all on his own. Diamond had already gotten out, and by the time Kenvi actually rejoins the fight, it's already looking doomed. And I love the fact that Diamond is like, no, stop hitting the Bard. Let's go hit the dragon.
Just walk away from it. Quacker trying to make a difference, but just gets sniped by Array. And yeah, I think Dox is going to want that one back. It kind of feel good in the moment, but then you see the time going by. All those seconds feel like hours, and your team gets blasted right afterwards. And speaking of, 7-1 performance from Kenvi, we've had some miraculous jungle performances today. I feel like we've been really gifted between Yuji and Kenvi, and Kenvi's given his own right to be in that conversation for most valuable prospect.
For sure, and now Shochi looking for Quacker. This is a charm, but there's still a dive onto Winnie.
Winnie goes right back in as, here comes the Tempered Fate, but it's way too late, and that's not enough. Now Darkwings is here. Things are falling to dysfunction a little bit. Mummy, says Wildcard, and I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Quacker's going forward. They've got the flank. It's like a sandwich. They just got to close the lid, but they can't. The meat spilled all over the place, and Supernova take hold.
Now Darkwings is on the run. Can he find a great escape?
No way. They're going to TP Diamond here just to make sure. Oh, it hurts, and it comes for Darkwing. Supernova take a mid lane tower as well, and they take everything from Wildcard.
9,000 gold is Faisal.
No way. Faisal wants it. He's keeping him away from the magical journey. As, he won't actually be able to deny him there, but the Baron minions are pushing, and tier 2 in the top side is the focus.
Yeah, nice attempt from Faisal, but still, Supernova is doing fantastic. Array should have hit 100 stacks at this point, and Aaron suddenly becomes the question. He has not had an opportunity to participate in a lot of these skirmishes. He's been on the other side of the map, and as the 4th dragon looking to spawn, 209 should be able to get it before we get to the next dragon, but Faisal is now in trouble.
I really don't like Faisal for what he's been doing. See if you can get Aaron some more stacks here, though. Just gonna try to chase it down. He's got so much mobility with the Ghost, and they're losing bot side right now to Shochi.
Yeah, they should eventually get Faisal, but at what cost?
Give him the stacks. Give him the stacks. Is he getting... Okay, got the kill to Aaron. That's nice, as they do lose that tier 2 in bottom side. They look at the back off here. Kenvi's looking for Winnie, though. Winnie's just going to get murdered up here. Shotgun's coming for you, and Diamond. He goes back in, but he's dead like that. And Kenvi goes godlike, 10-1 on his signature grave.
Yeah, if anybody in chat understands why I call that barwelling, shout out to you. Just going for farm as the jungler when like you have like 4 camps up that you could go for elsewhere, but instead this wave in particular is the one that we need to pick up. Ends up going down 3-7-2 compared to can be 10-1-2. Like you're calling out, he and Yuji really jockeying for position for at least most valuable jungler and possibly most valuable prospect.
That's for sure. We've seen some incredible performances. But the thing is, it's not even just the fact that he's performing like this. It's the fact that they confidently picked the Graves' final pick on red side and are making it work. Kenby goes legendary with that one. Dox is just getting run down now in the middle of all of his team. Dawning Shadow comes across. Mom is called, but it's left wanting. As now Wildcard on the last breath of their bottom side. Now the minions actually taking a while to get there. They could try to catch out. Because now they go over the wall here. Winnie, he goes, gets the kill. Shutdown goes to Aaron. So you're starting to get a little bit of something back as the Elder Dragon is starting to tick. You might get another shutdown here on the diamond, or at least more gold. Aaron is free firing, but now Kenby steps forward with the flash, gets his 12th kill of the game, and Aaron is all by his lonesome yet again.
Wow, Kenby just does incredible numbers. He has Flame Horizon Winnie at this point in the game, and Dox and Aaron, the only 2 people left alive trying to find this inhibitor. They will not be able to do that. They will not be able to get to the dragon either. Is there a teleport ward? There is nowhere for Quacker or Dark Queens to try and teleport to in order to try and find some flank. Supernova are getting everything. They're having their cake and they're eating it too. You can't teleport to that one.
As we get back into the Dragon Pit here, it will be that Chemtech Soul for Supernova, giving them a little bit of extra fighting power there. Dox is stepping up here, just going to take a ton of damage. Now, Cracker's on his way. He has an opportunity to fight, but Kenby's already going to take that dragon. Wildcard, they need to be careful here. They're literally just getting picked apart. They have everybody surrounding them. They're just trying to dive on a Shochi, but Shochi has Spirit Rush. Now Doxa misses, and all the things going wrong for Wildcard here. Supernova picked them out. They'll find Doxa in the mid lane here too, as Kenby will take him down. Tempered Fate ain't gonna save you today, and this could be the final gasps of Wildcard in the regular season of Spring 2024.
They're starting to push in. There's a wave of supers pushing in the bottom lane as well. Wildcard not going to be able to mount a defense here. It's going to be on Aaron. Does he have the damage to defend 3v5?
That coherency, that synergy, not playing a Wildcard strength, but Supernova playing to all of their strengths, every which way possible. It has been a dominant series from Supernova. They still have one more left in the tank as well this weekend, but they are putting a hurt on the Wildcard.
Now we're ending with Aaron already dead. It's going to be Quacker who we look to for the damage. Oh, they got him.
The double saw CC though. I don't know if they can get him. The at least Gwen Immune style is being enacted here. Oh, Charm connects there, and that means the Dark Queen's gone. A lot of that sustain is gone. Focus onto the Nexus turrets, and Supernova, they'll clean house here on the wild card. They'll push up to 6-2, and they'll find a date with Destiny here to finish the season.
Oh my god, I can't believe that of every single player in this game, in this league, it is Kenby who finally breaks the record. I believe it was 14 or 15 kills previously. Kenby, 16 kills coming through on this Graves, showing off exactly why he has been one of the most dominant Academy/Challengers junglers we have ever had. Fighting themselves some very crucial wins, and they have a date with Destiny, just like you said, coming up tomorrow, where they can play FlyQuest to try and find their way even higher than current the 3rd place.
I need to get somebody to be a mediator, and I just need to have like a debate between Yuji and Kenby on who should get MVP. I just want to see that. I need that as a piece of content. Somebody get that going for me. Anyways, we're going to step away for a short little break. We'll be back with an interview with Supernova.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Welcome back, one and all, to the Rally Cry post-game interview. We are joined by none other than Supernova's Shochi with the Teemo hat, of course. How are you doing, bud? I know you still got another series. Your destiny is still in your hands. It's a big one.
Yeah.
But you come away with a 2-0 shellacking of Wildcard, and it came off the back of some really consistent play, at least around the mid lane.
Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah.
I said around.
yeah, around. Maybe not like the mid laner specifically, but I mean, yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it. But yeah, it feels good to 2-0, especially after our fluke of a loss last week. I'll just come out and say it against my old org Fear. Yeah, we'll see you in playoffs here.
Nice. Now, we do got to talk about it. You have been one of the players that a lot of people had expectations for. You might not do quite as well with this roster as you did on Cincinnati Fear because you haven't necessarily been receiving the same kind of attention from the support and the jungler as you have in the past. Now, you're still on one of the top teams. How much of that comes off of the differing styles that you're being forced to play as on this roster?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely growing a lot more as a player with this kind of a roster, like just having to adapt to that new style because, you know, as you said, back on Fear, Perry, JJ, Trevor in Spring, like even Manui with all the freedom he gave me in draft, like I had a lot going for me on Fear, so I was able to shine pretty brightly. And, you know, I'm fine to get some Ari duty here and there, some Karma duty. They're good champs, they're strong, it makes Kenby look good, so I'm happy with it all. Like, I always like playing a bunch of different styles. I don't think I can be only carry. I don't think I have to only play support, so I think that's one of my best strengths as well.
I want to nitpick a little bit at that duo because it was one of my favorites coming into the split, and I was very excited to see it. But it feels like Kenby has really taken off in terms of a leadership role. At least when we talked to him before, he's like, I want to make a lot more decisions, things like that. What is the communication structure between the team itself and kind of the breakdown in game? Because you guys are gritty and you guys find ways into games, even in like mid games where it's not going so well.
Yeah, the communication is pretty much just like everyone gives their own info, and then if someone sees the angle, like Diamond or Kenby, it happens a lot. Like if they see the engage angle, they really call for it. And sometimes it leads to things like the way TP bot lane level, to say Faisal, I don't remember what level, but like, yeah, if you TP, it's so good. And I'm like, okay, here I go. And then I kind of just get one shot. And same thing with the TP up in top lane. They're like, okay, you TP after we get the mid turret. And I'm like, I think they'll engage.
Oh,
no!
I thought that was your call. Oh no!
No, it wasn't mine. I'll just say it was not my call. I thought it was a little sus, but you know I trusted it. Which you know it's on me too. I should have my own judgment. Yeah, I shouldn't trust blindly for everything, but yeah, that TP was kind of weird.
Yeah, it ended up, you know, biting you guys a little bit, but going into this last week of the regular split, remember the most valuable prospect award is coming up. It is a regular season award. Playoffs do not count for the most valuable prospect. So I want to ask two quick questions. One, if you gave it to someone on your team, who would it be? And if you had to give it to someone on not your team, who would that be?
Well, yeah, it's definitely not me because you know I'm a playoff scaler, so playoffs don't count. I don't know if I'll qualify for that one. I think just looking at it, like Faisal has been like kind of quietly the solid like baseline of our team. Like he's kind of keeping us anchored down there. But you know, like Kenby, I think just broke the kill record. He's been looking really good, especially on these carry champs. I think, you know, he's gotten his confidence back after some unfortunate things happened at LCS. So yeah, I'm glad he's been able to show what he's capable of, and I think I'd give it to Kenby for our team. And then for another team, I mean, FlyC is obviously like one of the most standout teams. Like them and Maryville are really good, especially. I'd have to give it to either Chime or Quad on Fly. I don't know. I can't pick between the two, but yeah, I think both of them are really good.
I appreciate you so much, Shochi. I do want to give you a chance to give some shout outs before we let you go. Anybody you want to talk about here?
Yeah, first of all, you know how it is. Shout out my girlfriend. You might not have seen her in Twitch chat today because she has a late night shift at work, but you know, gotta get the bag. Shout out all my friends and family. Shout out my teammates. Shout out everyone who supports me. And yeah, see you in playoffs. I'm scaling still.
I can't wait for the anime arc, my friend. We look forward to seeing more of you. And that is it from you. Thank you so much. And we'll take it over from you and round out the day after a day that felt like it was going to be a long one ended up being pretty short with a 2-0 to finish us off. Supernova handing business down.
Yeah, we definitely saw Supernova really taking everything in control. Again, there were a couple slip-ups, and that is one of the things that I think might separate Supernova from the rest of the pack, but we will have those answers very quickly coming up tomorrow because Supernova have to play the current top dogs in FlyQuest, so we will have a very good idea on how both these teams are looking come the rest of playoffs.
Let's go ahead and take a look at those standings as Supernova trudge ahead and put themselves in third place at 6-2. We will have the continuation of the split tomorrow, but a lot of things coming down to the wire here.
Yeah. We have to remember at this point that Disguise, Team Liquid, and Lit are still in contention as to which one of these teams is not going to be making the playoffs. Mirage Alliance, unfortunately, can no longer qualify, but everything else between Wildcard, Fear, AoE, still very much up in the air as to exactly where you end out, and none of you guys want to have to go up against FlyQuest or Maryville for your first round of playoffs.
That's definitely not what you want if you're looking to make a deep run, especially with playoffs coming up so soon. It's such a tight turnaround for us. So very excited to see what the rest of the weekend has in store for us. But that's going to be it here from us for day one of our final super weekend, our final weekend of the regular season. Josh, do you have any big thoughts coming to at least as we close it out?
This is my last broadcast of the regular season, so I'm going to go play some Warhammer this weekend, and I'll see you guys all again for playoffs. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to see how the rest of these got going. Tomorrow, probably the single most important day of the entire split. Make sure you tune into that.
It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of things on the line in terms of positioning. We'll see you there tomorrow. We'll see you next time on Summoner's Rift.